Texas is blocking federal agents from processing migrants in a public area of Eagle Pass.
Do you expect to meet with him personally after this?
We'll see what happens. Here's the deal. He's never called me.
One of the towns is near Eagle Pass, Texas, where the influx of migrants has been nonstop over the past couple of months.
And they rejected my recent request for an additional $3.5 billion to secure the border.
More than 700,000 illegals have been welcomed into our country illegally.
Political discourse on immigration policies. We believe they're acting perfectly appropriately. What they've done by holding their ground is all right to protect the integrity of the one who has acted. Is their state to address this when the House. In the event that Joe Biden federalizes our National Guard, it would be the greatest error in politics. President Biden is thinking about executive action to limit immigration capacity to apply for asylum following crossing the border illegally. Would you encourage that? In the meantime, President Biden and former US President Trump both expressed the same visits to the Texas border this week. Trump will travel to Eagle Pass that day, where while Biden is in town, there is an issue. Rivalry events occur as the competition for the 2024 presidential contest intensifies, preparing a confrontation about immigration with less than 9 months remaining until Republicans head to the polls. Republicans have been disapproving of Biden's administration's approach on immigration. Entering the United States through an open halt, as has been their stance, but Republicans are the ones who are said to be accountable for the circumstances of a right moment that endure because of their unwillingness to cooperate with this president who exceeded all expectations within a lifetime. A Democratic president on all-inclusive package.
Texas is blocking federal agents from processing migrants in a public area of Eagle Pass.
Immigration laws already that exist in the United States of America that are contained in the letter that are provided to the president today.
Judges to make the judgments on the spot, a new detection equipment to stop fentanyl from coming into the country.
Just a mile away from the U.S.-Mexico border. The move is the latest escalation between the state and federal government.
Employees not working is not an issue. The president's choice is allegedly thinking of employing executive power to limit the ability of migrants to apply for asylum should they enter the country illegally, something that the Speaker of the House has summoned. Nevertheless, notes that it comes to an election year. President Biden is thinking about taking an executive step to limit the capacity of migrants to apply for asylum once they have crossed the border illegally. Would you back that? Therefore, no. Because, well, what would do if he granted asylum following illegal migrants crossing the border, which would be approving unauthorized immigration? That would be chaotic. But pay attention, states currently permit the executive branch to prevent unauthorized access. If individuals enter our country illegally in order to detain them, in addition to needing both the president and the presidency, the government will erect border obstacles. There is no use of the president's executive power to carry out any of those actions that Congress has previously approved. The president doesn't require any new laws. The president needs a strong spine to ensure he upholds the immigration regulations, something the governor already has in the books. Drugs used in crime are something we've seen. Extremely important, but it's also a basic problem with borders in a nation. You're not a person if you lack a border. Texas Governor Abbott stands. This nation, where there are more Texan governors, Governor Greg Abbott has attempted convoys numerous times, completing every humanly conceivable task for his state, including its constitutional rights that have displayed the resilience to protect the integrity of Texas. They've hauled him to court on razor wire, and now a conflict between the federal government and the National Guard border troops is brewing. At this point, it is unbelievable that anyone desires to be adversaries. They all support the same cause. As you noted, the Border Patrol Council and Border Police personnel have communicated to Texas, stating that they'd like to have Texas's construction of barriers remain intact.
Do you expect to meet with him personally after this?
We'll see what happens. Here's the deal. He's never called me.
I think they said they're making $3.5 million a day trafficking human beings into the country.
They're here to both tour the border, to tour what we're doing with the buoys in the border, as well as
It is a much higher number. The Biden administration has replaced detain and deport with catch and release.
The Take Our Border Back convoy says it'll be calling on the government to address the crisis at the border.
This is not related to tearing down or destroying the razor wire, as it actually facilitates their work even more. However, resistance is the sole obstacle, and Governor Abbott emphasizes that President Joe Biden is aware of this. He accuses Biden of breaking federal law, particularly immigration statutes, resulting in a lack of enforcement and nationwide mass parole. Governor Abbott asserts that Texas, under Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, has the right to protect itself against impending danger or invasion. He argues that every constitutional right is available in Texas for this particular stance. Governor Abbott explains that Texas, having assumed control, has blockaded parks and successfully reduced the flow of unauthorized immigration. He criticizes the Biden administration for neglecting its responsibilities and commends fellow Republican governors for providing support. He addresses the potential federalization of the National Guard, stating it would be a significant political mistake, and expresses confidence in Texas's ability to endure. The conversation emphasizes the urgent need for a secure border, with Governor Abbott commending for his resilient efforts in challenging conditions. In the broader political context, it's noted that Republicans, both governors and attorneys general, are standing in opposition to the proposed administration, indicating the significance of the border issue in upcoming elections. Border security concerns. President Biden declared that he will be in Texas's Brownsville, close to the Gulf of Mexico, to meet with law-abiding local officials and Border Patrol agents for enforcement. This move aims to gain an understanding of the ground reality and address the ongoing border situation. It is suggested that House Republicans should back a border agreement made with Democrats in the Senate, which was pronounced dead upon arrival in the House. The outgoing President Trump is also planning to travel around 300 miles to the remote area of Eagle Pass, Texas. This location is significant as it is where the Texas National Guard was ordered to effectively confront and contain the influx of immigrants, resulting in a stalemate between Border Patrol, the Department of Justice, and the Texas state.
One of the towns is near Eagle Pass, Texas, where the influx of migrants has been nonstop over the past couple of months.
Korean War veterans of the U.S. have been booted from nursing homes that were sold to house migrants.
Trying to leave Cuba, Nicaragua, or Haiti, you have agreed to begin a journey to America.
Texas border town of Eagle Pass. This is at the center of this legal fight between the Biden administration.
Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott deployed National Guard troops to the park.
The president's visit raises questions about his perception of the actions taken by the Texas governor amidst disagreements between federal and state authorities. Biden has been criticized for his handling of immigration issues, with accusations of breaking federal law and not fulfilling his obligations to reject unlawful border entries. The text then shifts to a conversation about the current political landscape, with Biden's plea for Republican assistance and blame shifting towards Mayorkas and Kamala Harris. The ongoing border situation is described as a crisis and a catastrophe, with the assertion that Congress is the entity capable of fixing it. The president's communication style is criticized, with claims that his tactics are not working, and Trump is gaining ground in critical swing states. The focus then turns to a resident from Brownsville who shares a video depicting the challenges at the border, highlighting issues with fences and the need for a more effective border strategy. The conversation touches on public dissatisfaction, rising numbers, and grassroots movements in response to the border situation. The religious figures and their involvement in addressing border concerns is also noted. The discussion concludes with skepticism about how Biden will perceive the situation when informed by Border Patrol officers. Biden's visit. Discussing the worst border situation in American history in a fee-paying state, this all raises doubts about whether President Biden will truly understand the gravity of the issue during his visit. There's skepticism about Biden comprehending the situation, given previous instances where locals and agents spoke out, claiming that the Government of National Accord or GNA was putting on a show. The narrative shifts to a festive moment in Brownsville, Texas, where Chad Days are being celebrated. While the downtown area is prepared for parades and cultural festivities, there's an acknowledgement that the outward appearance may not reflect the underlying border challenges. The anticipation is that whatever needs fixing will be addressed for Biden's visit. Though doubts persist about his understanding of the issue, this notes public sentiment regarding the border, indicating that 71% of Americans view it as a significant problem, with 53% supporting the construction of a wall. There's a recognition of Biden's ability to reverse policies with a single pen stroke, but skepticism remains about his commitment to addressing the border crisis effectively.
And they rejected my recent request for an additional $3.5 billion to secure the border.
What Texas is doing, as has been seen about video after video after video.
Biden's for a free and open border. Just tear down everything. Let everybody come. No restrictions.
More than 700,000 illegals have been welcomed into our country illegally.
We are going to make it impossible to enter Texas illegally.
The upcoming visit by Biden is questioned for its practicality, especially as it coincides with an announcement by the outgoing President Trump. The White House's disclosure of Biden's visit is viewed with skepticism, with doubts about its effectiveness in addressing the border situation. This also highlights previous statements from the administration emphasizing the border security, contrasting them with the perceived reality of an ongoing crisis. At the end, all of this concludes with a series of statements reiterating the administration's stance on border security, emphasizing its commitment to law enforcement and asserting the border's closure. However, there is skepticism about these claims, with a call for clarity and effective measures to address the complex border challenges. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.